Yo, what is good, YouTube? It is your boy James, and I'm coming at y'all with another episode of the Previewing and Predicting series. Today I'm talking about a team that had a lot of conversations this offseason, and that was the New York Knicks. Now, I actually like the New York Knicks young core a lot, and that's why I wasn't a big fan of them getting in on the Mitchell trade, um, which I will talk about in a second. But yeah, we're talking about the Knicks. Lakers tomorrow, which is going to be a fun one. I might skip them like I did the Jazz and kind of hope something happens. Um, but I'll figure that out. So, talking about the Knicks right off the top of my head, I want to talk about two things. Or three things: RJ Barrett extension, the Mitchell trade scenario, and direction. So, for me, RJ Barrett, real quick, I like it. I don't think it was a big problem. Um, he's a guy that your fan base loves, and he has progressively gotten better. I don't think I don't like his ceiling as much as a lot of other people do, but I'm fine with the contract. Like I said, lock up your young guy. Hopefully, he can progress more for you. If not, maybe he just stays where he's at. He might be a little bit of an overpay, but I think it's a fine contract, and I think most people agree with me on that. Secondly, the whole Mitchell conversations, I'm glad they didn't pull the trigger because for me, I actually like this team's young core. And I understand they haven't had a franchise player in a long time, but I just don't think they're a Donovan Mitchell away. So I think they should just continue to build a core, kind of like what the Clippers did. The Clippers were in a little bit of a different scenario, but people wanted to come play for the Clippers because of the core that they've made. So I don't think next year is a great free agent class, but you should just continue to build a team that people are going to want to play on instead of trying to force young players into star players. Build a team, build a culture, and people are going to want to come play for you because you're the Knicks, but they're also going to want a team. So just build a culture, build a good team, and then bring in your star guy. I know there's been a lot of conversations about them getting KD Kyrie, a whole bunch of stuff. But I do think the Knicks can go get a guy. It's just they need to build a roster. That's why people weren't coming because the team wasn't good. So take this as a bridge year. You're not going to be great. So develop young guys. Get another pick. Continue to figure out who you think could fit that upper echelon. But yeah, just come on. Let's chill. Let's not rush it. People are gonna want to come play for you. So just relax. Just chill, um, and it'll come. You guys are the Knicks. But one thing I'm gonna do um, is build this roster. I just think it's easier for me to talk when I'm not build, but just write down instead of looking at the roster. Because first off, it's a little more interactive. But second off, I don't know. I feel like I just spew better. Um, so at the one, you just paid Jalen Brunson. I'm a fan of it. I really don't mind. I could see where some people say it's an overpay, but they haven't had a good point guard in forever. You need a guy who's going to run your offense, and a guy who has been a good playoff performer in his stints in his career. So, at the two, a guy I'm very high on. This starting lineup could go a lot of ways, but for me, like I said, take it as a bridge year. So then you can continue to build for that star player to come in and for it to make sense. Because I don't think Mitchell made much sense. So continue to build that young core for that star player to come. I know it sucks to wait, right? You want to be good right away. You had that fourth seed year in that disappointing playoffs, but just come on. We gotta chill a little bit, Knicks fans. Let's wait for the right guy. Let's not force our picks out. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I think Grimes of the two, I'm very high on him. I think he kind of works decently well with Brunson. Um, and like I said, I think you need your guys to develop. He's a guy I'm very high on. The man at the three, RJ. And this first three right here actually looks pretty good. But talking about RJ, like I said, I don't think I'm as high on him as other people are. But good player, and he's fuck. Sorry, Knicks fans love him. So yeah, I think that this is your small forward of the future. The four is where it gets kind of tough. Julius Randle. I don't hate Randle. I do just think he was having a sufficiently bad year. I also just don't think he's a one, and I don't think he should be held to those standards. Um, But I think he'll bounce back. I just that's the player that I look at when it's like, if you're trying to find direction, if you're trying to take a bridge year, do you want to continue to have Randall be that guy? I don't know. I haven't really thought about Julius Randle much. And then at the center, you paid him Mitchell Robinson. I actually really like their center core. I'm very high on the guy they just picked up, being a Clippers fan, which I will talk about later, which I'll have a little more in depth for. But this is what I think the starting line should look like. It's probably not. I assume Fournier will probably sneak in. But I just think develop, 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 and you've got Brunson's even on the younger side. Mitchell's young. Randall's a little older, but RJ Grimes, I like it. I was going to try to find a way to put Obi in there because I'm high on Obi, but I don't know. Six man is just going to be Derrick Rose. Like I said, I talked about young things, but NBA fans love Derrick Rose. He seems to really like playing for the Knicks. And he's a guy who I think might age decently well in the NBA, just with his new play style. So I like Derrick Rose coming off the bench. He likes coming off the bench. Then his backcourt partner, defensively, it might be kind of tough, but Emmanuel quickly. I'm also not on as high as him on other people is, but I think he'll be a good scoring guard off the bench. I think he might be able to sneak his way into some starting lineups for me. I just think he'll be a really good bench scoring guard, and you need guys like that. The three, Tom Thibodeau. He has to have the most long ranged ranking among coaches. I'm not a big coach guy. I'm gonna get into it more this year, but he just needs to understand that at the end of the day, these young guys need to play. I'm sorry. I know you probably don't like him, but you need to put him in your rotation. You need to think about your job in the future. Um, Although I get he probably wants to not get fired. But if you're going to stay around for a couple years, you need your guys to develop. Now, the only thing about Reddish, I'm pretty sure you have to pay him at the end of this year. So it might not be a bad idea, honestly, to just trade him. Um, I wouldn't hate it if they did. Obi at the 4, really like him. I just, he can't get that real chance yet. Um, and I hope he does at some point. Um, excuse me. Maybe you can play some small ball 5, Mitchell or the other guy I'm going to talk about next goes out. Maybe you can sneak him in at the 3, RJ at the 2, but then you're kind of missing that backup 4. I'm not sure. Backup center Isaiah Hardenstein, 2 for 16, great, good playmaker, good shooter, decent shooter for being a center, and he's young. Like, I'm glad that they paid younger guys. In Brunson, pretty young. How old is Brunson off the top of my head? I think he's 24. But I know Hardenstein's like 23. Brunson's 26. And then Mitchell Robinson, who I believe is 25. Like, those are all guys that can stick around. 24, yeah. So you paid a 23, 24, and 26-year-old. I like it, and I'm glad they did that. I know I didn't mention Fournier. He's going to sneak in somewhere, but like I said, bridge year. Develop, and then figure out who is going to be that guy. Don't rush it. But other than that, this team, for me, like, they're probably better than the Wizards. I like the Magic more than them. Might like the Pistons more than them. So, like, for me, they're going to fall from 11 to 13, 14-ish. But like I said, be as bad as possible. Get one more guy. Maybe that 2 guard to pair with Brunson and RJ, and then you move Grimes. Quickly goes to the 1. But yeah. Take the bridge here. I've said it so many times already, so I'll shut up after this one. Develop, draft well, and then someone will want to come. You're the Knicks. So, other than that, I'll just throw a record prediction out there. I don't think this team's going to be very good. Like 34, 35, I don't know. That's just blatant. Not looking at their schedule at all. Just like around there. I don't think they're going to be very good, but I think that's what they should do. But other than that, I hope you guys did enjoy. I'm going to get up a little more on base. I just have been kind of struggling with some stuff, illness, and things like that. But I actually really like this one. I feel like, although I repeated myself a little bit, we talked good here. So if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.